Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Ferris Makes Emulators. This is episode 64. We reached our next power of 2. That's pretty rad. And we're doing more Libretro stuff. Specifically, I thought we'd actually look at serialization today. For those of you guys who haven't seen this in a while, or even those of you guys who are keeping up with this is still our master sort of list of things to do for the Libretro front end. At least the things that are on my radar. And yeah, this has actually been going really well. I think anyway. I mean, compared to the frequency at which I'm working on this stuff, it's going pretty well. Like I think we did like SRAM and all the other kind of RAM, plus finish the reducing copy stuff. Plus this buffered audio. Like we finished all that last week. We support all the pixel formats. Pretty cool. There's some stuff on controller stuff that I want to look into. Multiple stereo output options. This one is one of those things that'll like never be done. We just need to keep supporting as much as we discover. Some profiling and benchmarking I definitely want to do, but I want to get everything in place before doing that too much. Especially, I still actually want to do a lot of this after we fix some of the final bugs that I know about in the emulation core itself. Serialization, deserialization is mostly about save states. There's some things here that I want to look into, which we'll probably do today. And then there's some trivial stuff here, getting stuff on the pipeline, which I'm not going to do until we're basically done with stuff. And then talking to the Libretro folks about making this a primary core. Decent amount of stuff to do. And today we'll just keep chipping away at this stuff. By the way, howdy guys in the chat. H. Karayan, Creek Pot, Gwenareth, MS Visser, Dark Second, Freefall. Thanks for the cheer, by the way. Good to see you guys again. So as usual, I have not touched this since last stream, which was 2 weeks ago, unfortunately. Hey, try later. Just having a lot of stuff kind of piling on these days. We had a Rust meetup at work last week. Had some stuff to do last Thursday as well. By the way, next Thursday, I don't think I'll be streaming. It's the day before we leave for revision. And we don't have too much to do. We're not doing a big 64K or anything again this year. But I don't think I'll be streaming that day. So yeah. Oh, Sir Skidmore. Thank you so much for the sub. 4 months too. Really appreciate that. Tier 1 sub. Party. Cool. I gotta open everything up again here. Also gonna plug in my controller here. No worries, Skidmore. Thanks again. Freefall, no, we don't have a demo lined up right now. We have some music entries and some other stuff that still isn't announced that I can't talk about. But I guess will be announced. Shortly. So that's been keeping us busy enough. And yeah. If we do a demo, it'll be a small thing, and it might not even be under Logic Coma, depending on how cool it ends up being. But as of now, we don't have any demos in the works. Believe me, I've done a lot of party coding. There was actually a time around, actually mostly 2013, but a bit of 2011 too, 2012, where we kind of took over the group Nazareth, and it was me and Laguber and Optimize, and we would just do stuff only at the party. And that was really fun a couple times. Then you run out of ideas, and it's not fun. Oh, that's cool, Dark Second. I still haven't played Elite Dangerous. Although, buddy of mine just got me into shooters. And I got this bad boy. So that'll be my evening after this. Move around some windows here. But I'm getting stoked for revision either way. It'll be really fun. Uh-oh. Hold up here. Ugh. I do this every stream now. Need to get better. And then I should do it. Rad. Still works. Start. Yeah, stuff works. So serialization is interesting. Like I said, it's mostly about save states, but there's some versioning stuff I'm a little bit worried about because we don't want to just serialize the emulator structures themselves. I think I want to have explicit serialization of the data in there. Because if we change any internal state or anything, we don't want that to be incompatible. So we want to think a bit about this and versioning our save format. So I think this will actually be relatively easy. We just have to do it in a way that I think will maintain backwards compatibility. So there's a little bit of thought here. But what I'm thinking is it will basically serialize to some other structure, which is, you know, for right now, I'm just going to copy and paste the structs basically. And then we'll just, you know, copy the data by hand and then use Seriday or something to be able to serialize and deserialize those structures. So I think that's all we need to do. We are going to want to maybe use something else. I'm not actually sure. Because we want to be able to detect versions before we deserialize the Seriday stuff. So we're going to have to figure that out. The other thing about Seriday is I've actually never used it. But as far as I know, you derive these serialized and deserialized things for a given struct. And then you're able to do, you know, for example, JSON or something else, and able to serialize and deserialize that data. As far as the data itself, I mean, the data that we need is actually really basic, so I'm not too concerned about that. It's more about all the versioning and things around that. Yeah. Now I'm wondering actually... Okay, so this will go like from a string, for example. Because we'll probably have to do like sort of a two-tier structure or something. Where we have, you know, some Seriday packed data as part of another piece of data. Yeah, I'm thinking this off the shelf for these structs, but then we stuff like that Seriday thing inside a string and then put that on another structure that just has the version in the string. Actually, that's probably all we need to do, and then we can really lean on Seriday for this. I'm thinking basically something like this. This will be part of the... I actually don't think I want this part of the core. I think I'll actually put this in a different package to keep that really separate. Something like, I'll just make this. Just do cargo new Rusto boy serialization. Do that. And in here, we of course want to rely on the core. So I'm just going to do this. Copy that out. I'll probably use JSON. I want something human readable because the state here is going to be so tiny. Although for the stuff like RAM, you do want something binary, and you don't just necessarily want a base 64 encode that stuff. Although maybe that's fine. Again, the data isn't going to be that huge. What is the expansion rate for base 64? I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, another thing we could do is totally put a compression backend on this, but I don't think we need to. I really don't think this will be terribly much data. Hey, Michael C. Yeah, the size and the speed here are fairly negligible just because of our data size. I think. I mean, we basically have just a handful of registers, and then all the various bits of memory, which altogether is less than half a meg, and I don't really mind having that in text. Yeah, that's what I thought. 4/3. I mean, just some back of the envelope math here. We have 256K for VRAM plus 64K for regular memory. I think that's it in terms of memory that this has, and then a handful of registers. There's some VSU memory that's basically negligible. So we have the state and we have the VRAM. Pretty sure everything fits in VRAM. Gamma table isn't necessary, for example. And then just all these states. And some of these internal states, especially like display first frame buffers, this is the kind of stuff that we want versioned, in case we ever decide to change that. It's basically that. 320. We can do times 4/3. So again, about half a meg, which in text is not that bad. And I want to have a textual format just so it's easier to move around as an interchange. The relative expansion, again, if you wanted to like send this to a friend, you could zip this stuff up or 7-zip it or something, and that would do really well on it. I don't think that needs to be inherently part of the format. So I think this will end up being relatively straightforward, actually. Which is good. We like straightforward. So I want to implement this in its own library first. I might do some kind of test driver for this. Rusto boy core. Yeah. I don't think we'll need to do a test suite for this. I think this will be pretty straightforward. Yeah, we might not even test this until we just hook it up to Libretro, to be honest. I'm just so not worried about the different kind of state that we need. And we'll basically have something like what does some of this stuff return? Insert A. Yeah, so Insert JSON is just the JSON one. Yeah, Michael C. More generally, serialization and deserialization of the emulator state. But yeah, that's totally going to be used for save states. By the way, just as an aside, I really like BSON. Just saying. Like, you want, like, sort of a key value kind of pair thing in order to make extensible formats. And to have one of those that's, you know, binary storage is often nice. But I think we'll go with JSON. Because it'll be so easy to understand. The overhead won't be very much other than the base 64 encoding. It's still about 0.5 meg for a save state, which is not really anything significant. So I think we'll be pretty good with that. And then again, having something human readable will help in case we have to debug something later. So yeah, I'm basically thinking rid of this. We'll have something like struct serialized core. And then we'll have the version. And we'll do that as a string too, maybe. Or we could just do that as an integer. And just bump whole versions. It's not like we're going to have like semver or something for the save state versions, I don't think. We can just do whole versions. That just makes it easier. And then, yeah, and then we'll have the core, which is going to be a string. And then this string is going to be something else, basically. And again, this dual level thing allows us to deserialize once and just get this structure. And then we can check the version and then deserialize this accordingly. And then we lean a lot on like Serde for even doing this first part of this. I think that makes sense. So this will be like this. Yeah, I think I like this idea. And these actually, these are the ones we want a version. I wonder how I want to organize that. Because I don't want to just have like serialized core 2. You know what I mean? But that is basically what I'm thinking. That like deserialize is going to take, you know, buff or some str string slice, and then give us a result of well, we want it to be the latest serialized core. Yeah, because I'm thinking that just to write this out. And then we'll do basically pseudocode here, but this would be enough. And then we can do so let's say we had 2 versions. Then this will be like this. Do something like this. Because there's a thing that I'm thinking about for the version where we just kind of do these updates progressively. We'll do some error. Hey, Okama, you too, man. I'm really looking forward to the party. It'll be really fun. I wonder how many levels you can do if you do into, for example. Like the from and into stuff. How many levels of indirection that would go through. I guess you could do like dot into, dot into, dot into. I'm basically thinking this. We'll do... You guys kind of see what I'm getting at with this? So like we deserialize just this top level thing, which is trivial. And then we look at its version. And if it's the latest, then we're just going to deserialize that as normal with whatever our latest core is. And otherwise, we're going to deserialize it as these earlier core versions. And then up convert those. You see what I mean? So like if it were the version 1, but our latest version is version 2, then we just have to do one conversion step. If it were version 0, then we'd convert that to version 1, and then we convert that to version 2. And the reason why I'm thinking to do that is that whenever we update the version, we bump the version and make whatever we need to do to serialize that. And then we also make a conversion function only from the previous kind of save state. I feel like this will be scalable, because then if ever we, add a new version, it's basically this that we do. Now, I don't know if this .into works, but like the pattern still kind of stands. I've never seen something like this done before, but I can't see why it wouldn't work. Because we basically deserialize, and this would get us the latest deserialized core, and then we would also have some kind of function apply, and we can do something like this. Move away. I don't know how that would work with the types if you just had that in a while like that. Because these would be different types. Yeah, sorry about that, Space. Space, I have links disabled. But if you wanna share something, you can whisper it to me. Hi, Pyro. I don't know if I already said that. Because see, this is the latest deserialized core, like that particular. Because we need to change whatever the latest core state is. Something like this. And the fact this bounces between versions means we couldn't just update it in a loop, but I don't think this reads that poorly. Hey, Zach Jeff. Hey, SKTS. Space was asking about the Semver crate. Yeah, I think that I don't want to use something like Semver for the versioning here. I mean, that would be really nice to be able to parse those versions and have those structs around. But I just don't think that we would have like a version 0.0.1 of the save states. One reason why we might want that actually though is to keep it like up to date with the versions of the emulator core, but I don't feel like we'll update it all the time like that. Like that kind of ties it so that whenever we bump the version of the emulator core, that I would also want to do that with a save state version. That's not necessarily what's going to happen. So I kind of want them decoupled, and then just using an integer is fine because this won't overflow in my lifetime at least. Yeah, I think this will work. Nah, not negative versions. U32. I32 just because that's the default number type in my head. That's all that was. But U32 is what we want there. We could make that like a U16 or something, but I'd rather just keep it U32 since it's going to be serialized to a textual format anyways. Even just doing like version 3 state is fine. Because we're always going to, like, I imagine something like this. If I can instead of like version whatever. No, we want the capital one. Here we go. Yeah, we'll deal with that in a sec. I think basically this. Because then it keeps it easy due to the modules, because we basically have mod version 3, for example, and that has, you know, pub, struct, state. And then this can even do this and just leave them in there. Although, actually, this one will want externally to the versions. We do want that kind of on this level, I think. And then we'll just update this in the top level code whenever that changes. Update the types. And I don't mind that, like, we might have to touch a few files whenever we update these types, because it's kind of a big deal when we update these. So I don't really mind that that's a bit of work. But then the idea is that whenever we have a new state, we can do this. Basically that. Update what we need to update, and then we'll do a pub function. Or isn't it from for state? I think that's what we do here. And then we'll get the convert function like that. So we encode the changes in these functions as well as the new kind of state. And then we'll change whatever's here. And then this will only deal with the latest state. So it'll be that. and then that basically, and whatever change we have to make here. I think that scales as well as it needs to. Because I know we'll at least have a couple of these changes. Yeah. I think this is what we'll do. And why don't we start at version 1? Version 0 sounds silly. Yeah, this is basically it. And of course, implementing these functions. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was hoping, Dark Second. That's what we have here. Although it might even work that you don't need to chain the intos, which is even cooler. Exactly, move away. Yeah. This kind of thing really sucks because like we're inviting legacy where before we've just been able to break things. But I don't think this is that bad. I think this will work. And this state, I'll probably fan it out too. So like we have a state object, but of course this might fan out to be like, you know, VIP state and then whatever's in there, which is fine. I don't mind having this being like a tree of objects as long as that segregates things in a nice way. And so then maybe, you know, apply actually fans out some other of that stuff too. Some other stuff. Are you able to alias modules in Rust? I mean, I know you can alias types. So I wonder if like exposing some state thing here, like if we had something like that, and we could just alias this to whatever the latest version is, that might make things look nicer. Hey, Chief Detector. Oh, that's cool. You can do that. So I think what we want to do, I think just aliasing the types is actually good enough here because we can do something like, is like that. Does that work for these functions as well? That'd be cool. because that just makes this public API look a little saner. I can't imagine why you would want one of the old ones. I mean, and if you did, all this stuff is still public. So you could dig in there and get exactly what you need. You can make this public, for example. So a lot of this, just works. And I also want this out of the core because it is kind of like there's coupling here in terms of like whenever we change the core, we need to change this stuff. But at the same time, if you just wanted the emulator, like to run a virtual boy emulator, you wouldn't need serialization. And if you wanted a core with serialization, it wouldn't be that hard to link in both crates. So I kind of like that segregation. Yeah, I think I'm convinced. I'm going to take 5 minutes, and then we'll get to work on this. So the reason I took 5 there is that whenever thinking about this stuff, I like to splat it out like this and then think for a bit and kind of get away from the screen. So I'm not looking at the details here. I'm just thinking things are moving in my head, even though I try to like look at other stuff and you know what I mean? And I noticed something really obvious when I did that, actually. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to decide which one makes sense here. Because something like one of the reasons why this kind of sucks is that when you nest the serialization like this, it is going to like deserialize the whole string and then just go and deserialize that again, which, you know, it's a bit wasteful. But I mean, I'm not too worried about that because of, you know, how much data we have. But at the same time, when you look at that and also this, the fact that it looks at the version and then depending on the version does different things. What we've basically described here is a tagged union, and like where here's the tag and then here's the union, just serialized. Well, I'm pretty sure Faraday can actually serialize and deserialize tagged unions. I would imagine so, at least. We can do some experiments with that to be sure. But I would imagine that a version state would be something like this. If instead we did this as an enum, then we wouldn't have to have the version because we would basically do this. Something like that, right? And Faraday should be able to just serialize and deserialize this as is. And then from there we can, you know, we can unwrap these the way that we would before. Now, I guess the downside of this is that if this didn't, you know, if this tag wasn't something it recognized, it would fail, but it's going to fail anyway in that case. You know what I mean? This will actually be like this, basically. In fact, it's actually that. I think. Or just that even. Because this can fail as well when deserializing that. And then this becomes, instead of switching on the version, it's instead this. Yeah, it is Chief Sector. The Swiss, I'm not sure what you mean there. Then we can basically do this. And we don't even have errors here. I like this a little better because then it never deserializes anything twice. And we still get, you know, this versioned version, which could be any of these, just like it could have been before. Assuming Faraday can serialize and deserialize these enums like this as well. I'm assuming it can. I don't think you'd get very far with a Rust serialization library without being able to support that. Oh, this was Faraday RS. So yeah, I like this better, I think. Yeah, I agree, Dark Second. Because it's basically the same thing. It's just we're leaning a bit more on Rust here, which is not a bad thing. And in fact, this even just becomes okay here. because we know if it was deserialized that we can always get it to the latest version. That's pretty cool. So I like this more. It bakes our logic that we had switching on the state to deserialize more into the regular deserialization. Yeah, this is better. So this is what we'll implement. By the way, I saw a comment on Per Vonson's Bitwise about him trying to get sponsored. No, well, it wasn't about him trying to get sponsored, but that he should try and get sponsored by Coke Zero. Well, I'm about to start a war. Nah, I'm just kidding. I drink too much of this stuff, though. By the way, I don't know if I've talked about Per Vonson's Bitwise because I don't think I've streamed since he started that. Maybe I have with an Earthbound stream or something. Anyway, it's awesome. Go check it out. That's all I really need to say. But he's making like a computer and stuff from scratch, including the compiler, the toolchain, the language, the hardware descriptor language, tons of stuff. It's awesome. Super happy to see that project. Also really happy to see kind of what does it look like if someone tries to do this kind of thing full time. So it's extremely interesting. Again, that's called Bitwise. Definitely check that out. Anyway. So I think all we really need to do here, we need to get Serday here. And we only need to do this. Well, I think we need to mark other things with these. Maybe not. I don't know how it works with these nested structures. I'm probably going to make a crap test driver here for this. Because why not? We'll call it because naming things is hard. Oh, that's cool, Mavoy. I'm actually okay with that. Because that's as readable as we need it to be. Good to know, though. Yeah, I don't mind how that reads at all. We'll do this first of all, too. Why didn't I like this? Probably because I didn't include Serday. That'd probably help. We'll do all this stuff. We'll make it all 1.0. Makes it easy. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I appreciate the tips move away. I don't think I'll want to customize this much. I mean, maybe I'll change my mind when I see it. See it on the actual data, but really cool to know. And we'll worry about this in a bit. Actually, this one we'll have to do pretty quick here. This is the one we really want here. To start out with just a test. Or actually, we don't even need that yet because we'll just construct this ourselves here. So if we go in hold up. Windows thinks I'm getting lead hacks, but honestly, it probably just found an intro. Yep, it did. It found found a 4K demo and decided that I was getting lead hacksorted. So I'm just gonna fix that really quick. Anyway, we'll basically do let's state is or use something like that. And this is a good test too because we don't want to expose the fact that this is Serday underneath either, which is nice. And we get whatever the Serday thing is here. I think this crate's done really well, by the way. Lots of stuff to help us out here. Yeah, so we have toString and FromString. It's pretty great. Oh yeah, it has enum representations right here. That's cool. Yeah, this is exactly what you were talking about. Movie 00. This is good stuff. Yeah, there's the tag. I think we'll just stick with whatever the default is, which looks like this externally tagged just because if this ends up being version 1, whatever. I like that. I just want to see these like from stir and stuff. Cool, we have like from reader, those kind of things. Especially like to writer. Because then we can just serialize straight out, which is really cool. I'll probably just use to string for now though, because I think that'll make this easiest. Let's do. But I do want to look at to string. Yeah, it's a results. We have a assert JSON error. I think we'll just do this, to be honest. I don't mind just using strings for errors and stuff like this. This will probably be something like map error and then format it, but we'll worry about that when the compiler yells at us. Because then this becomes let version state is yeah, just popping it in here. Let's actually take ownership of this. That just makes it easier. And this is really easy because this is just version 1. We know that. Also, we don't actually have the other variants, so this will be good. And then we can just do JSON. That's probably wrong that I called it that. Like that, or just that actually. And then let's do S actually. And I don't mind at all just doing debug on these. Also, let's put these in alphabetical order, because I do that now. And this I know at least need. Debug here, I'm guessing we'll also need deserialize and serialize. I want the compiler to tell me that. And so if we do cargo run. What's in it like? That's a bit interesting, isn't it? I'll go back to create SIO here. I've actually never seen this error. The entire time I've used Rust. Isn't that odd? Let's just try to do something here. Okay, so that alone, it's broken somehow. Load source for dependency serde derive. If we did something like this. Okay, so it didn't like that either. Which is concerning. No dependencies, and what happens? Yeah, so this is failing to actually fetch this stuff. That's a bit interesting. This wasn't the M one, no. Good point, though. We should actually try and look at that. But I don't think that's going to make much difference. Yeah, so now we at least get to this. Let's say we just did Rush by core. Does that help? No, so already there, it can't find this encoding one. This is weird. So let's try doing something like just looking at this in the browser. Now, I definitely got this. I actually didn't know this was going through GitHub. I don't think the compiler's the issue here. It's definitely telling me that it failed to load source order dependency. And if I take these out here in this crate, then it gets to the compiler just fine, and then breaks in the way we would expect. Yeah, I'll try doing that, Dur, too. Just seeing if I can clone this repo. This is weird. I'll just try to get the SSH link from there. That seems to work. And this failed because I did Control-C. Didn't even make the files. That's so strange. I'll try to, really quick here, just do another Rust project. I'll do a cargo clean a cargo build and just see what happens. What's one I haven't built in a while? Stuff in here I haven't done in a while. Just making those. Okay, so that failed too. Can one of you guys try to build something like this? And just see if it's on my end or not? This is weird. I don't know how much that narrows it down, but I've never seen this happen before. I'm gonna Google it too. Not installing from a non-standard location. Do none of that. Let's even do this. See if we can do that at least. And also might refresh some stuff. I'll try that too. MT Lich. I don't know where my cargo home is. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be not in here. Ferris. dig in here a bit. I doubt it ended up in the same home directory as what MSys thinks it is. Oh, I have Rust up in here, actually. And cargo. Ferris.cargo. And we can just remove the registry. Might help. I hope this doesn't cause any problems running these at the same time. This is taking concerningly long time. I can try this too, but I don't think that's where that is. Yeah, I don't think I have anything here related to that. No, I don't think it would use the MSys home because my Rust install is separate from my MSys install. In fact, the only reason I have the only reason MSys is aware of my Rust install is because I have it import my normal path. No, it's also not that home, or maybe actually home points to that in MSys, but I mean, I found it. Yeah, that's also not the right one. I found it was in my app data, so I already deleted it. I'll wait for this to finish and we'll try again. This will take a minute though. But I don't mind. I need to do this periodically anyway. You guys working on any cool projects? And yeah, I mean, if we really get stuck here, we can try to link through GitHub. Although I have a feeling, to be honest, that clearing the registry will probably fix it. We'll see. This is one of the reasons why I have Rubik's Cubes on my desks. I should just straight up play that shooter that I got while I'm waiting on this. This arcade stick is so cool. Look at this baby. What a beauty. What a beauty. And it's PC compatible, which is one of the reasons I bought it. Let's hope my front USB ports aren't just nuts. And if this finishes in the meantime, then I'll have to play it later on stream at some point. But as long as I'm just waiting, I might as well give it a shot. Also, my front USB ports suck. So this might be a little skeevy. Actually, I'll use a different one. My keyboard USB port. Move some things around here. I'm not very good at these games, by the way. This is a Nintendo. It's a Hori, made by Hori. I can't remember what the model was. Real Arcade Pro 5. V is in 5. By Hori. This thing's really sick. Just gonna move some windows here. Why not, right? Of course it's by Cave. Turn on my audio here. Oh, I love that. First time I plugged this into my machine, and of course it works. I turn on the audio because it's gonna get loud. And of course I play Black Label because I don't know any better. This game is nuts, by the way. Yeah, that's the one he hicks switch. If my YouTube video gets muted because I'm playing this, by the way, I'll just make an edit of it with this part cut out. Don't you just love this look, though? Yeah, it was one of my colleagues that pointed this out to me. He was going to get one. And I'm just like, dude, let's share shipping. And it feels great. I'm super satisfied with this experience here. So I'm not great at shooters, but, you know. And here we fight some mech anime babe, which just makes me laugh. Rust is still updating. Oh, tell me, E-Hig Switch, that you played Ikaruga on that. I just bought a Dreamcast and I'm loving it, by the way. I have no idea, SK this. Probably like 6. Oh, cool, Deadbringer X. I'm really happy to hear that. Did it find any bugs for you? Because mine hasn't found any bugs for me yet, but I think it's super cool that other people are building those too. I think they're really useful, and they're fun. They're a fun thing to build. By the way, whisper me a link to that. I would love to share that and check it out myself. Nice, EHIX Twitch. I'm so bad at this. But I just think it's so fun. Oh! It's really cool that even when you like totally die, you can just continue straight away. It clears your score. So like if you're trying to get on rankings, obviously you wouldn't want to do that. But in terms of just me dying and just messing around with this stuff, it's really satisfying because you're just not dead for very long. Yeah, this game rules. Absolute insanity. And there's people on YouTube, of course, that are just nuts at this. I lasted longer through that than I thought I would, at least. Not that that makes much difference. I'm super happy to hear that, Deadbringer, that that worked out for you. Really cool to see that approach validated. I love this. This game rules. What a perfect thing to do while just waiting for Rust to update. That should be like a Twitter hashtag. Things to do while Rust Up updates. Part of it is because I have a lot of different different targets in my Rust Up config, so I'm not really that surprised, but yeah. I don't think this game was from the Saturn. I think it was from Cave Arcade hardware. In the 2000s, I believe. So it probably would have been some Rico CPU and then FPGA GPU. I don't know which Cave board it was. Not that familiar with this stuff yet. It's awesome, so I probably will be at some point. Man, this is... Oh, I just love it. I'm just dying every 2 seconds, but it's so much fun. Exactly, Midway 00. Oh. You're absolutely right, SKTS. I should absolutely set that up. Yeah, system updates also. Bomu. This girl. She does this scream attack that is just... It's brutal. This is not the brutal part yet. It just looks like it because I'm not good at this. Jeez. Oh, I love it though. Yeah. She did seem nice for about 5 seconds. Oh man, I could have gotten. I could have survived that, and I just didn't. Man. Apparently, this is like the hardest variant of this game. I don't really know. I just think it's rad. I just like how overwhelming it is. Oh. Hey, love like Semtex. Look at that. You're supposed to deal with that. It's just awesome. My score is ridiculously low because all the resets, but awesome. Yeah, bullets per inch, exactly. BPI. This game is nuts. This is how you implement Libretro, by the way, guys. Is you update Rust, and while you do that, you play arcade games. Did not see an opening there. Yeah, retro arcade games, extremely relevant. I just love it that there's like top tier game designers that specialize in whatever this is. That makes me really happy. Like the definitive bullet hell experience. Yeah, if you open source that Deadbringer, let me know. I'm super happy to share that kind of thing. I think that's really cool. I mean, I don't think it needs to be like insanely easy for someone else to get it up and running because it's hardware anyway. As long as it's documented. And, you know, just showing other people how that kind of thing can work is really the bigger benefit to the community, at least. But I mean, do what you want. But if you want to open source that, I'd be really happy to share it. This is look at this. So crazy. Woof. Insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, that scream is what I thought was earlier. This is this girl. Ah! Oh, it's nuts. Insanity. All my stars. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Again, my score is wicked low. I died right at the end and so many times there. Russ is still updating. And I'm dead. I don't know if you guys even see the appeal in this, but I'm all over this stuff. Don't restart. No. Oh, I was pushing A, not B. I need to get over the other side of the screen. That's just nuts. It's so cool though. The frame rate drops really help. It is just nuts. Absolute savage. All right, Rust is done updating. Yeah, I'll just shut this off. All right, thanks for your patience, guys. Rust is now done updating. And I can continue. Okay, so I'll actually close this proper. Let's see if that helped. Again, I think clearing the registry is actually, if this fixes it, that's probably what actually fixed it. Maybe it was just waiting a while, and maybe it was updating Rust. Either way, we're going to find out. Taking a minute. And that's fine. I didn't run it verbose. And I did clear the registry, so it's okay if this takes a minute. Too bad I just closed the game. That's funny. Nice move away. Oh crap, it's already 9:30. But I wanna at least set this kind of thing up now that we have the idea of how this will work. And I wanna see it. I wanna see this serialize something. I'm making that the goal. I mean most of the important work is kind of designing this anyway, so getting that kind of in the open and letting it sit for a couple weeks will help too. You know what's sick too is I keep forgetting to turn off 60 FPS on my stream settings, so you guys just got the full experience of that game. I hope. Rip encoder. I did close the game too soon. My mistake. I think that's funny. Okay. Looks like that fixed it. One of my favorite things about streams is I just feel okay just doing that. It lives! And of course it broke, but now it broke because of actual problems. Yeah, so here's what I expected first of all. The issue here is that in here, I marked this version state as having, serialized and deserialized, but because this struct does not have those implemented, that's an issue. So that should fix that first problem, and we'll see what else it yells at me about. Yeah, and now here we have the errors. like here. So a really easy way to do this is map error. We could just do this, E, format. Like that. That'll work if this has display. We might have to do debug there. Either way, not that concerned about it. Now it's telling me in the right places. Yeah, and version 2 doesn't actually exist. So it's just that. And OK is already out here, so that's good. And here we'll do map error too. For whatever reason, that might fail. Oh yeah, and this, forgot the little braces here. All right, cool. So we got that. That's awesome. And then we'll do this too. Whoop. Right, it has a result here. That's fine, because we'll just do unwrap here. Because we know it's okay because of the... Or, well, we don't know it's okay, but we do in this test. So now we have our state here, and we've successfully round-tripped it. This version 1 thing, I don't mind having it like that. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. So, okay, I'm convinced this will work. I guess next time, which will be in 2 weeks, we'll actually implement this properly, and then get it hooked up to the stuff in Libretro. Hopefully at the same time, maybe not, because there is a fair amount of stuff that we want to cover, but we'll have to see. But anyway, I think this Sunday I will still be streaming. It will most likely be a demo scene stream or something related to stuff that I'm doing for revision. Because revision is next weekend. For those of you guys that I will see there, I'm super excited about that. If you want a sneak peek of maybe what we're doing, I hope to share that on Sunday. But on Thursday, I won't be streaming. I think I have to get up pretty early on Friday to catch the plane, so I'm just going to not stream next week, or next Thursday. And then, of course, that Sunday, I'll also be at revision, so I won't stream then either. But this Sunday, I'll still be streaming, and then it'll be a week off, and then we'll be back on as normal. So in 2 weeks, we should be able to pick this up again. Unless I get sick at revision, which kind of tends to happen. It shouldn't happen this time because I'm not, pushing myself as hard as I tend to. But you never know. It's a lot of people in a pretty closed space, so we'll see. Anyway, thanks guys for hanging out, and I will see you next time.